I was very angry for most of my life. I remember I have punched so many concrete walls with my hand that like this hand is now bionic. It just is now because I've just hit it so hard on so many things. I was just so angry. I wanted to fight. I wanted to drink. I just wanted to let it out. And I remember, and this moment changed my life forever. I lived in New Hampshire at the time. I was sitting in my recliner, and I didn't know that Facebook had a folder of messages that if somebody wasn't a friend, the message went to this like spam folder. I didn't know that. So one day I found that and I was cleaning it out. I actually got a message from my father's girlfriend.
Wow.
And she said, "Hey, I'm your father's girlfriend. He'd really like to see you if that's something that you're open to doing." And I remember I dropped my phone. I fell on the floor and started crying because I was like, oh my goodness, do I have to do this? Like, is this a sign that I have to do this? And I texted one of my friends and I said, I think this is something I have to do. I have to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing this. And my friend said, "Hey, do you want me to come with you?" I said, I have to do this. I have to do this on my own. I just do. And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we went and we met at a diner, and I didn't even know what my dad looked like. I had no idea what he looked like. So I was sitting down and I saw a man walk past the window, and I just knew. I said, "That's my dad." Don't know how I knew, but I was like, I think that's him.
Yeah.
So he came in and sat down and we had a conversation, and it was difficult, of course. Yeah. And then I think we met one other time after then, and we still text every once in a while, but it's really hard to try to adopt a relationship the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I haven't seen you in so many years. I can't just let you into my life in the capacity that is socially accepted or socially expected. I can't do that. So it was very difficult. And I think what that meeting did for me is it helped me realize he was just trying to figure it out. He didn't know. He probably didn't want to have a kid. That probably wasn't the plan. Could he have taken better ownership? Of course. But me holding on to that anger is not serving me. And let me take the positives from it that I have, my work ethic, the chip on my shoulder will always be there, but let me make sure that I'm using the chip and the chip isn't using me. So I'm way more understanding now than I ever was. And I think it's because I had the courage to go see him, which I never thought I would do.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. That's a great story. And it's like you say, I think probably when I had kids, when I met my wife, things changed for me because I was the same. I was always angry and drinking. And you always have that turning point, don't you? And I think, and it's understanding the other person, like you just said. You almost give some empathy to your dad to think, this is what he was thinking. This is what he wasn't being nasty. It's just the way he was. Whereas before that, you would just have that hate and that rage and why. So I think that's really interesting. And something that resonated with me where you said there is the Facebook thing, because, and I mean, this is me telling you a quick story and I'm interviewing you, but
please.
On Facebook, I got a message. My dad died when I was 14, very young. He was a bit of a naughty boy, and things didn't go too good for him. And about 6-7 years ago, I went on Facebook, that junk folder. And there was loads of crap, and there was one. And it said, "Was your dad, Malcolm Thomas Dudley," my dad's name. And I thought, that's strange. So I opened it, because before you can't see who it is, and then you open it and then you can message each other. And it had been in there about 2 years. So I messaged back and I says, "Yes, why?" And he says, "I think that's our dad."
Oh, man.
So we had a bit of a conversation. I saw a picture of him. And I was like, and my wife just went, "He's your brother, fuck me." And I went and met, and yeah, he was, my dad was a bit of a naughty boy, and he had another child. And so, you know, I've gained a brother. You know, we get on really well now. And it's crazy how these things happen, isn't it? You know, I could have just deleted that and probably never met him. But so everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah. Same as you. I think the message was like 2 years old when I found it.
Yeah, yes.
It's interestingly, you and I are very, very similar in ways that I did not expect, but I'm glad. I'm very grateful.
What's the name of your dad?
Richard.
Jesus Christ. I was born in America. Shit. So, I mean, the self-improvement thing is brilliant, and talking to women, I can understand that. What do you think the biggest thing is with helping with self-improvement? Because there's so many things now. We talk about mental health a lot, and it's to talk, which is so important. You've done so many podcasts now. What's your feeling on that side of things?
I think the biggest thing is probably self-awareness. Because it's ego, really. It really is ego at the end of the day. Whether ego is me jumping up and saying something mean or me shelling up and trying to protect myself, all your ego is doing is protecting you. In some way, shape, or form, oftentimes the ego that we see is the lash out. So we say there's a puffer fish or a turtle shell. The puffer fish is the one who gets angry, wants to fight. That was me. And the turtle shell is somebody who just recluses into the corner and doesn't feel good enough. And I think if you can figure out, okay, what is the way I usually go? What is my default setting? My default setting is blank. How do I fight that? You can turn your life around. Your life looks completely different. And I think you just have to understand that you got to be real with yourself. I'll tell this quick story. Alan and I were in California, and we were at a mansion. Okay, we were interviewing somebody who we'd had on the show before. His name is Brant Pinvidic. He was the producer of The Biggest Loser, Most Extreme Weight Loss, and Bar Rescue. 3 very big shows in the United States. I don't know if they made it over there, but we were at his house, and we interviewed him. And we go outside, and he said, "Hey, guys, I want to cook for you. Every time somebody comes to my home, I cook for them." And we were like, all right, let's do that. That sounds cool. And he rolls out this grill on wheels, puts on a chef hat, and proceeds to cook for us like Benihana style. And we're like, this is awesome. And after that, he started talking about business with Alan. And Alan has an MBA. Alan was electrical and computer engineering at one of the best universities in the world. So Alan is a genius, very, very intelligent, understands business at a deep, 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 deep level. And they were talking about business, and I got super insecure, very insecure, uncomfortably insecure, where I'm at a mansion by the pool in California. I should be living my dreams, but I didn't, and I didn't know why. And I had to check in with a self-awareness. I feel insecure because I don't feel good enough. What do I have to do? And I said, Alan, what do I do? And he said, you got to learn. Like, let's learn business. And that was a huge turning point in my life, where every day since then, I've learned at least for a half hour. Every single day, I'm listening to a book for at least a half hour. Saturday, Sunday, every day, because I checked in with, what if I'm not good enough yet? Intrinsically, as a human being, I know I'm valuable, but I'm just not knowledgeable enough on business. I'm not. And I don't want anybody to tell me I am. That's not helping me. So that level of self-awareness allowed me to say, hey, you got to get your stuff together here. You got to, if you really want to play at the level you want, you got to check in on this. And I just think my ego didn't try to protect me. It did, but I knew how to counteract it. I got insecure. I said, that's not right. Let me ask Alan. Alan told me the truth, and that changed my life. So I think that level of self-awareness can really do things for you. It's difficult for sure. And it sucks looking in the mirror and realizing you're not as smart as you thought or whatever, but you're only hurting yourself if you don't find out the truth.
Yeah. And I think the worst thing what you've done there is amazing, because you've noticed it, you've gone back and you've worked on it. Some people will not work on it. They'll walk away from that conversation. They'll feel, gutted, negative. They'll sleep. They won't sleep, and they'll never try and work on it and find out why. And I think that, years down the line, that can really affect someone. The best thing you can do is think, and like you say, self-awareness. Why was I feeling like that? What could I have done? What can I change? And that's a brilliant thing when you've got that self-awareness to do that, because if you don't, it will carry on with you for the next 10, 20 years. So think about it. And I think that's one thing about this day and age now. We are a lot more self-aware. Yeah. We are understanding ourselves a lot better. You know, mental health is a massive example. Understanding ourselves better and not being scared to say, you know, I'm crap at this. I'm not very good at this. I'm rubbish. Because people won't good people won't judge you. Good people won't say, oh, well, you know, your mate didn't turn around and say, well, you just ain't clever. You know, he said, this is what you need to do. And good people will do that. And that makes people thrive. Do you think?
Yeah. And I think that it'll help you in every single relationship you have in life. The relationship with yourself, of course, but imagine if you and your partner have an argument, or you and your friend have an argument, and then you say, why did that happen? And then you dig down a layer and you say, okay, well, why did that happen? And then you dig down a layer. And then when you get to the actual root of the problem, when you hear the words root cause is the actual cause of the problem. When you get there, you can not only solve the problem that is current, but you can prevent it from happening again because you know why it happened. I think that when you think of a tragedy, okay, like a building collapses, or, you know, a car, they get recalled, something bad happens to a car, a plane crash, what happens? They figure out the root cause of the problem so it doesn't happen again. It's becoming more aware of what the problem was, and then they prevent it in the future, hopefully. And I think we can do that as human beings as well. It just, a lot of us run from the trauma, or we have a trigger and we don't use that as the tragedy to make a difference. We go back to default of it's shell up or pufferfish. And again, I've been both, so I very much understand, but I can promise it is worth it. It's worth doing it. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult to look in the mirror. I will not lie about that, but I will tell you that it's the most the most fulfilling. It's going to help you become more aligned. It's going to help you with everything.
Yeah. And I've always said that about being uncomfortable, because I remember many years ago, I had to go down London to do with film stuff on my own, didn't know anybody, was dreading it, thought about turning back many times. But I did it, and I spoke to someone who I respected, and they said being uncomfortable is one of the best things you can do, because you're growing. And it's not easy. Of course, it's not easy, but you will grow so much. And I feel that. And now, and I try and tell my kids that, whenever I feel, because I think we all get used to being nice and cozy and having Netflix on the telly and, everything's all, but the reality is, if we want to grow, put ourselves in a situation where we're on a train and we're going somewhere and we're thinking, fuck, I'm going to get off. I'm not going to go. You've got to, because once you've done that, the feeling is just, it's ecstatic, isn't it? Afterwards, I'd come home and I'd be like, wow. It's true, isn't it? That always happens, always.
Yeah. And this is the next layer of that. I think what a lot of people do is they jump. So imagine a bullseye. There's 3 circles. In the middle, the smallest circle is comfort zone. The next one out is learning zone. And then the furthest circle out is anxiety zone. You want to live in your learning zone. And then you want to visit anxiety and you want to visit comfort. Most people live in comfort and then they jump to anxiety and then they jump back to comfort. That's what COVID did to most people.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine we have somebody on our team, Laura, who was a nurse in Spain during COVID, during the time of COVID. I could only imagine how much anxiety zone time that was. When you go home, you're most likely not going to be working on your habits. You're just trying to get back to comfort. You're going to do whatever it takes to self-soothe. I think that a lot of people, we think that we have to do something unreasonably challenging. No, you just got to figure out where your learning zone is. You just got to figure out where your learning zone is. When I went to England, that was anxiety zone. I hadn't flown in 20 years. I am terrified of planes. I've never been to another country. When we landed, my buddy, Andrew, I went with Andrew. He said, hey, Kev, we got 4 days and then we're going to fly back at this time on this day. And I was like, all right, that's not what my ticket says. And he said, what do you mean? I said, my ticket says we're flying back at 7 a.m. on Sunday. He's like, oh, I'm not flying back until 8 p.m. Sunday. I said, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So something happened and the tickets got messed up. That's ultimate anxiety zone. I had to take the tube, right? Is that what it's called? The tube?
Yeah.
I had to take the tube from just outside the O2 Arena, wherever we were staying. And that was super anxiety for me. But now taking a flight from Boston to Florida, that's learning zone stuff. It's easy now. It's easy. So understand, you got to figure out where your comfort zone is, where your learning zone is, and where your anxiety zone is. An episode a week now for me is comfort. 8 episodes a week is learning. If I was to do 15 a week, that's anxiety. And again, it all starts in the comfort zone though.
Yeah, that's a great way to think of it. So where do you see the podcast and everything in the future? I guess you just keep pushing and you want to be sort of up there in the number one, is that where you see it? And part of that, because the great thing is you're doing that while also helping people and talking to people. Is that what the future looks like for you? So
I have to be very humble in the fact that Alan is the CEO and Alan is the visionary behind a lot of what we're doing. He just sees things years and years and years ahead. So I always want to be humble with that. But our goal is to double our money and double our listens every year. So we want to do 500,000 in revenue for the next 12 months. And then our goal is to double that year over year over year. And then same with listens. For us, it's about profitability. It's about impact. It's about maximizing our potential. And if we can get better, a little bit better every single day in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, things shift drastically. So yeah, it's very much us do what we're doing now, but do it better, do it bigger, do it more effectively, more efficiently to more humans. The people say, I get the question a lot. Are you living your dream life? Because you're kind of doing what you said you wanted to do. And I definitely am. I'm very blessed. And my future dream life is just now, but exponential. It's just the same things, but 2 more humans, 4 more money with a bigger impact is what we're playing for sure.
Well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I always ask my guests for a bit of advice. So it could be advice you've been given or that you would give somebody. Have you thought of anything for that?
Oh, man.
I know there's going to be loads.
One of my favorite, and it's a quote, but it makes you think, and that's always the point.
Yeah.
Are the people in your life the best from your past or the best for your future? So many of us have the relationships in our lives that we have because we always have. I went to high school, I went to college, I went to middle school. What about the future though? Are these people actually going to help you accomplish what you want in the future? There's so many people out there who have these big goals and they can't even tell their closest friends what their goals are because they get laughed at. Those shouldn't be your friends. They shouldn't be. You should find somebody who cares about what your future looks like more than your past, or who wants to see you aspire to the levels of greatness that you want to have. And I know a lot of people are afraid to be left behind. So it's not that they're bad or they're negative, but really check in with that. The big thing that has helped me over the last 5 years is I've really only surrounded myself with people who believed in me and people who are on a similar mission. And I know that they're helping me get to the future. And that's one of the reasons we're moving as fast as we are. That is. So are the people in your life the best from your past or the best for your future? Difficult question, I know, but that's something that can unlock a lot of potential and opportunity in your life.